All right, hello everybody. I'm Brian, and this is AAMI News and Conversation. I'm here with a very special guest, Alpa, and she's about to tell us all about a brand new technical information report coming out of Working Group 61. But Alpa, you can tell us all about that in a second. But first, tell us who you are.
My name is Alpa Patel. I've been in the healthcare industry for over 21 years at Nelson Laboratories. We validate medical devices and machinery that process those devices. I'm a director of lab operations at Nelson Laboratories that oversees healthcare reprocessing divisions.
All right, and Working Group 61 is one of our AAMI standards development groups. You guys have produced quite a lot of really important documents. ST58 is one of them that comes to mind immediately. But this document is very laser focused on something that I guess it's meeting a need we haven't seen before. We're talking about UV disinfection and providing a new level of guidance for that. Why is that necessary? What is this document hoping to achieve?
So this document is hoping to achieve the healthcare users that are using UV disinfection right now. During COVID, we did bring in a lot of precautionary items where chemicals were hard to get. So the UV disinfection market took off. During that time, a lot of devices were being used through an expedited FDA approvals. And so a lot of testings were done in a very small, short format way.
Okay.
And so they've already made it in the healthcare industry. They're already using these devices. What this document says is let's take a step back and look at what UV is bringing into the healthcare. What do the users need to know about using this device? What cycles do they need to run? What is the intensity? Is this the right UV format that you're using for this medical devices?
That's interesting right there. Is this the right UV? So I hope you can help me take a step back now and just tell me, okay, what does UV disinfection normally achieve? And what do you mean the right UV? Why are there different kinds?
So there are different kinds of UV. There's UV A, B, and C, and there's also D. But we are focusing on UVC, which is classified as for disinfection validations, right? And it disinfects in the area that it produces light for. So this document will only focus on UVC disinfection, and it is important to understand for healthcare users that there are different UVCs that you want to validate for, and there should be some substantial information in the IFU on the usage of it, and also indications specifying what is safe and what is not safe to use with medical devices.
So this document is providing a lot of need to know information for people who are exploring UV as an option, maybe even an alternative, because of supply chain issues, things like that. Is that the reason that people are suddenly diving into UV?
I think because of chemicals, right? We have a lot of chemicals in the hospital, and a lot of these UV manufacturers are thinking outside the box, right? A lot of manual processes with chemicals can be hazardous to the healthcare users. So they are going in the thing out of the box, thinking, what can we do with UV light? Now, what is hard to do is because we are a validation lab, we do validate these machines as well, and we do understand the capabilities of these machines. And so it is very difficult to compare it to a chemical. If it's chemical, can do way more damage to the bacteria than the UV can, because chemicals can get inside. UV is a surface disinfectant, surface disinfection process.
Okay, so it limited application, but it can be very valuable where it can work.
Yes, for particular products that only need surface disinfection.
And it's interesting too, because it sounds then like UV can't cause a lot of damage, but at the same time, obviously there's a need to avoid misuse. So I'm wondering then, if I don't know best practices, if I haven't taken a look at something like this TIR that's going to come out, what can go wrong?
What we can go wrong is we can damage medical devices that we are currently using UV disinfection for, right? Are the label claims specifying that you can use this device, for example, a probe, put it in a UV machine, start it. They have a certain cycle. Was that cycle validated for that probe? And over time, when you use it, you will start to see damage on the product. And what does that incur for safety for patients? Have we assessed the capabilities of what the machine can do to the product and to the materials that it is composed of?
That's interesting. I know off camera we had talked about some examples, including, say, just the numbers on a keyboard starting to disappear, things like that. That could obviously lead to some silly mistakes that might have some negative consequences for patients or even record keeping. But are there any other examples that come to mind right away?
So a lot of the ultrasound probes, they do have a silicon piece on them. And what often happens with this silicon piece is it starts to delaminate from its surface if you use the wrong intensity of UV or disinfection. So you have to validate it in a certain bracket of intensity of light to ensure that you're not curing any damage to the product.
I can see why this is very valuable for sterile processing departments or people who are running disinfection, because obviously they don't want that to happen. But does this document help out anyone else? Do manufacturers want to look at it for any reason?
That's a very good question, because this is a two-prong standard, or that's a TIR, that's going to address the manufacturers to look into what they need to do more testing for, right? Finish up the work that you did before. Yes, you helped during COVID by expedited testing, but now take the full realm and ensure that what you're proposing in your instructions for use is actually capable of doing. There is very limited information on disinfection validations for UV. However, there are organizations like FDA, CDC, and test labs that can help you address those questions as well. And the other prong is the healthcare users. It alerts the healthcare users you want to look at the instructions for use before you even use the machine, right? You want to see if the instructions for use have a list of devices that it claims that it can disinfect. Because if it doesn't, now you are liable because you put that medical device in there and started it. So where is that responsibility, right?
That's important. And it sounds like we have a lot of the right people in the room talking about this, both, industry side, those manufacturers we're talking about, plus end users, and test labs like yourself. I am curious though, are you looking for more participation right now? Is there a call to action here for people to join the committee?
We would love to see manufacturers join more. We do have a handful of manufacturers that have joined and have participated greatly by providing all the information for the standard. But we also would like to have a lot of users that are actually day in and day out using these devices. What are they seeing? And what are they experiencing? And those are the things that we're missing. And we would love to have that audience come in and give us that perspective as well.
Excellent. So anybody watching, if that sounds like you can reach out to standards@aami.org and we will connect you with the right folks. Alpa, this is a very interesting project. I'm excited to see it come to fruition.
Thank you.
But for in the meantime, enjoy the rest of Sterilization Standards Week and hard work that you guys are doing.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.